Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of Action Jackson Fitness Client Success Stories. I'm Coach Jackson and I'm here with one of my superstar clients. This is Phil. Phil is here because he annihilated the program. He went from 208 down to 187, losing an incredible 21 pounds. He lost 4.6% body fat, getting down below 20. And he also, now this is going to blow your mind, so get ready for this. He went from a 43.75-inch waist down to a 32.25-inch waist. That's 11.5 inches lost off of his waist in only 16 weeks. This is mind-blowing stuff. I don't think we've ever had a client that lost that many inches off their waist in such a short period of time. Phil, welcome and introduce yourself.
Hey, Jackson. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So, my name's Phil. I'm just an ordinary guy living here in Freehold, New Jersey. I have three kids, a wife, and a very stressful career in finance for the last 12 years. And, fitness is something I feel like I've always flirted with and struggled with and really never saw any results with until I came across you and your program. So I'm happy to kind of dive in today and tell you all about it. But I'm just excited as you are in terms of the results.
Yeah, they're just mind blowing. The weight and all those things are pretty much in line with a lot of the people that make it to the Hall of Fame and do these interviews with me. But the inches off the waist is just, it really is incredible. I've never seen anything like that. So that's amazing. But let's pull it back from all the success and all the smiles right now to what was it like before you joined the program? Where were you at mentally, physically, and just kind of talk me through that so we can kind of just dissect the whole journey.
Yeah, sure. So I'd say I'll start around the time of COVID, right? I put on a lot of weight. I'd say ever since we had our first kid back in 2016, I kind of let the prioritization of fitness and weight control kind of go to the wayside a little bit as priority shifted. And it's something I really struggled with, I'd say, over the last 6-7 years. During COVID, it got extremely bad, right? I'd say actually during the first part of COVID, I was doing some Beachbody routines. I had the adjustable Bowflex weights, right? And an adjustable bench. And I'd say that, probably lasted maybe a month or two, was doing okay. And then I just started spiraling and I kind of ballooned up all the way up to close to 240. I think I was around 238, right? So coming out of COVID, obviously we had gotten like a return to work directive, at least for a few days a week. None of my work clothes were fitting anymore that I had worn back in 2019, early 2020. Realized I had a problem. Obviously it was exacerbated by the need to go back and be in front of people. But, so I did join like a local gym where there was, I actually hired a trainer. There wasn't really much of a focus on nutrition. It was just, workouts and whatnot. And I'd say between me personally knowing that I needed to be in a calorie deficit, really with no science behind it, factored with me getting to the gym and working out, I was able to get down to right to where I started this program around 207, right? So I did lose roughly 20 pounds there. But as you can see in the before pictures, right, body composition was not where I wanted it to be. I took a new job, ordered the tonal, right, to help with that because I couldn't get to the gym. I was going very early in the morning, and went through, I think, 4 weeks to fat loss. It was one of your programs. And again, I think similar to some of the other people I've seen interview in the past, you think you're making all this progress and whatnot, and then you take a look at the picture and you're like, oh, that's it, right? And to me, it all comes down to nutrition, right? That was the missing link, I think, in everything, along with the consistency and the accountability, which is what your program delivered. And you can see, obviously, in the results, what I was able to do in 16 weeks here compared to a year plus trying all those other things was incredible.
Wow. A lot to unpack there. So yeah. You get up to like 240, your heaviest, you're kind of struggling because now you have to get in front of people and you have to go to work and go back to the office. You hire a trainer, you go to the gym, you're going early in the morning, you're doing this routine. You do that for about a year. Is that right?
Yeah, I'd probably say closer. I think I was overlapping a little with the tonal in the gym. I'd say the gym was probably closer to 7, 8 months. And then the
Okay.
tonal, I think I did roughly 4 months on my own before I found you. Right. So
Got it.
that was probably about a year
But
combined.
you make some progress, right? You
Yep.
make some progress, you get down feeling a little bit better. But how did you know, number one, I guess, how did you know that nutrition was the missing link? And number two, a lot of times when people lose weight, they're kind of like, oh, I lost some weight. I'm okay with that. Why did you want to continue from there? Like, what was it about wanting to get from where you're at 207, 208 to now like, I want to kick this into a high gear and like take this to the next level?
That's a good question. So it was, well, number one, I thought I was still extremely out of shape. Even after that period of time, right? I realized that, the 240 was out of control, but even for prior me, even 210 was, 207, where I started this program was very high. I also found what I was doing to be unsustainable, right? I didn't enjoy doing it. What I was trying to do to cut the calories, I knew I couldn't do long-term. And that's when I came across you. Quite frankly, just to be perfectly candid, when I heard that Tonal was, doing away with the California coaches, and I'm like, man, Jackson's my man. I love his programs. Let me Google him online, and that's actually how I came across your program. And Faith would have, or Chance would have it that one of your success stories was actually someone I had worked with in the past, right? Ryan Ascone.
Yes.
So, wow, I actually know someone that you've helped. Like, this isn't, these are real people. And I reached out to him on Facebook to learn a little more about it as well. And just hearing, I think the common theme in all of the success stories was the sustainability of the program, right? And I could vouch for that 100%. Obviously the first month I think was pretty tough, with the insulin reset and really cutting out carbs. But now we're going on 5 months here. I don't know any other way at this point, right? It's just I wake up in the morning, I know what I have to do. I know I need to get a workout in, and it's just part of my everyday routine. And I never felt that before, right? So I'd say that's what kind of drove me to the program. And then on the other end, it's why I'm here, right? Because it works and it's true. And what I'm saying has been validated, but by what I've gone through in your program, if that makes sense. And just
Makes a lot of sense.
Nutrition question. It's just, I've always known it was nutrition. I just never knew how to put together a plan that makes sense for nutrition. And we can go into more detail, but I'd say right now where I'm at, it's a very flexible plan, right? Like if I want to go, for example, let's say I think one of my go-to meals every now and then, I'd say maybe even once a week, is I'll go to Wendy's and I'll get the grilled chicken sandwich with a small chili, nothing on it, right? The chili replaces the fry. And that actually fits into my macros quite nicely, and I don't feel guilty about it. And it's just like very, little things like that just make this very sustainable, right? And that's why I love it, and that's why I love the program. So
that's amazing. I love to hear that, and it definitely it makes me feel good to hear that you're not only making a difference and making a big change in your life, but you're doing it in a way that you feel like you can do forever. And that's really the key, is because what most people do is they do some kind of crash diet or an unsustainable diet like keto or paleo or something. And it's like, if you're never going to have carbs again and you're okay with that, then great. And that could work for a very small amount of people, but most people aren't going to be able to do that. So you need to find a plan or a strategy that you can do forever in order to get to your goal. Because if you do something different and then you change your eating back to your normal habits, that's how people gain the weight back and gain more weight back, because now your body's actually primed to put on more body fat when you gain it back. So you have to find a strategy that you can do forever. And that's what our goal is. So yeah, we start hardcore. We get after it because we want to get you the results early on in the beginning, build the momentum, get you really excited, get you trusting me, getting you invested in the program, seeing the results. Then we make it easier and easier and easier. And we take advantage of that motivation wave early, get you the big wins. Then we loosen the reins, so to speak, make it easier and easier and more sustainable. And by the time you finish, you're hitting the ground running and you're like, I can do this forever. So I love to hear that from you, because it just, again, validates that what you're doing to get there is what you're doing to maintain it. Make sense?
It makes complete sense. And I'd say what you do in the group and having everyone kind of share, these recipes, right? I love that. What you shared the other day, the egg white turkey bacon kind of like McMuffin thing, right?
Yeah. Food Friday.
Delicious. Even on football Sundays, created a way to make like little pizzas, right? So it's just being creative with how when I would normally order a pizza and wind up eating 5 slices, I can make these and you're within 300 calories and you're still within your macros, right? So it's just being creative and adjusting, and it's extremely sustainable, right? And I think that's the key, just like you said. So
yeah, it's having those clean sheets that you can have that do fit into your macros, and doing that sometimes. And then also occasionally being like, okay, now here I'm going to have my quote unquote cheat meal, or I'm going to do my thing and not track and not have to worry about it. And it's having that balance of sometimes doing something that fits in your macros so that you can keep making progress, even while enjoying some of your favorite foods. And then on the flip side, sometimes going off the plan a bit, but strategically and doing it intentionally, which is the key. So that when you do it, you don't feel guilty, you don't gain a bunch of weight, you don't feel bad about yourself, and you don't spiral out of control, which a lot of people do. So you've been a master at that, and you've done such a great job. But like, I guess as you joined the program, I know you had a lot of obstacles. And for a lot of people, they'll join a program like this, they'll get all excited. I'm going to do this. I'm going to change my life. And then they get sick. Something happens at work. They go on vacation and it's over, and they never come back from it. Now, you, my friend, you did an amazing job at overcoming multiple obstacles as you went through the program. Can you talk to me about what those obstacles were and how you managed to overcome them?
Yeah, I think all of those examples you gave, I think every single one happened to me during the program. So I'll go through them in all detail, but the mindset was when I was going through these is that this is a lifestyle. This is something that I'm going to do long term. And these things are going to happen in your life, right? You're going to get sick, right? Curveballs are going to come your way, and you need to be able to realize that they're only temporary, right? So I think one of our first conversations, I think the first obstacle I had was just the time that I started this program. I knew I wanted to get started. I made the commitment to myself. I made the commitment to you that I was going to go through with it. We had a 2-month-old newborn when I started this program, right? So he came early. He was due, now I even forgot his due date at this point. I think he was supposed to come in mid-July. He came June 10th, right? So he came 5 weeks early. He was in the NICU for 5 weeks, right? So we had the stress of needing to go see him every single day in the NICU. He was having some issues with his lungs. We bring him home, and that's right when I start the program, is right when we bring him home. And if anyone that has a kid knows, babies, you're lucky if they give you 3-hour stretches when they first come home, right? So we were up every 2 to 3 hours, I'd say, for the first month and a half of the program, right? Which is an extreme obstacle.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, and not getting that sleep. I would still try to get minimum 6 hours of sleep, but it would be broken, right? So I don't know if I was ever hitting REM, but I knew in my mind. That I wanted this and that I had to push through, and the fact that the tone was right I could just go right into my basement and work out obviously helped. And then, as the weeks were going by, it started becoming, the baby would start giving us 4 hours and then 5 hours. And it got to a point, I think, right when he was giving us 4 or 5, I would start getting myself into a routine where, okay, I'm getting up at 5 a.m. with him, right? I'm going to feed him, get him back down, and then I'm going to go knock out my workout. So once he started actually sleeping through the night, it actually messed me up a little bit, right? Because I'm not waking up to him anymore, and I need to start waking up for myself to get down in the basement and get my workout done. So that was, again, trying to create something out of what appears to be an obstacle. So that was obstacle number 1. Obstacle number 2, I would say, would be, a house filled with 3 kids. We got a 6 going on 7-year-old. He's in first grade. A 4-year-old who's in pre-K 4, so he's preschool. And then the baby. Anytime these kids go back to school, you're going to get sick, right? Like it's just, it's a given. So it was end of summer, they're going back to school. It might have even been summer camp. It was either from end of summer camp or beginning of school year. They come home with hand, foot, and mouth. Quite honestly, I didn't think adults could get it. I was wrong, right? I'm like, oh, no big deal. It's a kid virus, blah, blah, blah. I actually wound up having my brother over to watch football, who's also in the program. And little did I know they infected him, they infected us, they infected my brother-in-law. And I'd say that was probably worse than COVID, worse than the flu. The body, you feel like you got hit by a truck. You start getting marks on your hands and your feet. I think I was out for a good 2 weeks, right? But during those 2 weeks, you gave me a call. You said, hey, listen, focus on your nutrition as if every day was an off day, right? Which is what we did. Kept the nutrition on point. You gave a few pointers on how to try to get through it quicker with immune, some supplements you recommended, which I think did help, right? And coming out of that, I go back to the tonal and I'm not able to lift as heavy, right? It's a little demoralizing, right? I'm doing recovery workouts. But again, just push through. I'm stronger now than I was at that point, right? Just staying consistent with it. I was able to readjust the nutrition as I got back on. You were flexible in adding a week to the end of the program. So that was another obstacle that we saw and that we overcame. Funny story. We also got the flu in the house 2 weeks ago. And I was actually the only one that didn't get it. The baby, the two kids, my wife, baby sneezes right in my face when he has it. And I was taking like 6 immune pills a day at that point, and I never got it. So I'm thinking that had something to do with it. I'm telling everybody, I'm selling immune like I'm a salesperson for the company, because I'm like, I didn't get the flu. I was taking the immune. But those were two of the obstacles, and there were probably a few more. Stress. I did start a new job right when I started this new program, director level role. So a lot of people I'm responsible for.
The holidays, of course.
Holidays, yeah, throw that in. And again, I think I benefited from starting the program at a point where once the holidays came, I was in more of the final weeks. And you just did this before. There's 3 days I can remember just not caring about what I ate, knowing that the next day I'm going to get right back on track. That was Landon is our he's now 6 months old. It was his baptism, right? We had a big party for him. It was a Sunday. Just, we catered a hall and everything, and, just didn't worry about it. Thanksgiving. And then just most recently, I'd say like half of Christmas Eve and the half of Christmas Day was just, I ate whatever I wanted to. And then the next day you get right back on track. Right. And it's more building, your ability to do that, not spiral from those events. And that's what this program's done. The old me, I would have never went back to my nutrition plan the day after a day like I just had on Christmas Eve. Right. I would have never went back to the nutrition plan. And now I have that confidence that I can do it. Right. So, so I'd say, listen, I'm not special. You just got to keep the vision, right. And know that this is a lifestyle. These things are going to happen, and you can't let them derail, the end goal. Right. And that's what I did.
Yeah. People hold perfection on this pedestal, and they say, if I'm not perfect, then it's just all for naught. And it's like, no, because everybody fails, everybody falls down, everybody gets sick, everybody has these obstacles. It's just the people that succeed at the highest levels, they just overcome them faster. They just get through them faster and keep moving forward. Even if they're not taking leaps and bounds forward, they're just crawling forward. They're scratching forward. They're doing anything they can to just keep moving forward. They fall down, they get back up, they just keep going forward. And you did that, my friend. And you did it to such a great degree. Even despite not being perfect and all the obstacles, you still lost 21 pounds, 4.6% body fat, and 11 and a half inches off your waist. So like, if that's what you did despite all the obstacles, imagine if you get a little luck and you don't have a bunch of obstacles, like what could you possibly do? But I think those obstacles are good. I think they're very useful because they teach you how to then overcome and deal with those issues in the future. And people always ask me, I need to not have vacations or holidays or anything when I'm in the program. And it's like, no. You want to have challenges when you're in the program because, one, you have coaching during those difficulties to get you through. But number two, then you learn how to deal with them in the future, because guess what? The holidays are coming back next year. I've had a lot of people tell me, Jackson, the holidays. I'm like, they're coming back next year. So if you don't learn how to deal with them now, you're going to have to learn eventually. So you did a fantastic job with that. But what was the driving force in you that got you to keep going forward? Like, what was that, whether it's your reason why or that driving force? I talk a lot about my mom and the struggles she's had with health and how that drove me forward. And that's why I do what I do for my clients today. What was your driving force that got you up in the morning, that got you to do those workouts, that got you to keep getting back up every time you got knocked down?
Yeah, I'd say, I think there's a few things, right? And I think that's a loaded question. Well, first and foremost, I think setting a great example for my kids. I wasn't doing it, right? I wasn't doing it. I think a number of people have said this on the interviews I watched, but my kids are now in the basement with me. When I'm down there, they're down there. My oldest 7, he wants to start lifting weights. I'm like, I think you're a little too young, right? I was trying to read online. I think when he's 8, I can get him like on, but they're doing like the ab workouts with me. They're doing the burpees, like the cardio stuff, right? So setting a good example for them first and foremost, I think trumps anything else, right? My oldest son asked me we were outside one of the last days of summer. We were in the pool, and he's like, Daddy, when I'm older, am I going to look like you? And I think, like, to me, I was like, there's no better feedback you can get from your progress than a comment like that. Right. So that was amazing. Secondly, I think what I experienced growing up, like my dad was, and still still does struggle with obesity. And, at one point in his life, very similar to me, I think he prioritized fitness around 40. He got in decent shape, and then he fell off and went back to his old ways. So seeing him kind of struggle to put socks on and, get out of a chair and things like that. Like, I know I can very much be there if I don't prioritize my health. And then the last thing I'd say is, just from I've always struggled with confidence, my whole life. I've done a pretty good job, I think, professionally, like putting the football helmet on and getting out there and masking it. But definitely in my personal life, I always struggle with confidence. I think I've talked to you a number of times about, going to the beach, leaving my shirt on, and like going out if we have people over and going in the pool, leaving my shirt on. And yeah, even now, right, I still struggle with it, even though I have seen these great results, and it's something that I need to overcome. But seeing the progress in the way that this program, allows you to kind of to track, right, to physically see the changes that are happening in your body week over week. That's really what got me going, especially at the beginning, right? Until it did become a habit, right? Which it is now. It's a habit. But I'd say it's a combination of all those things. I don't know if there's one I could point to in particular, but a combination of just my life experiences are really what pushed me through here.
I love that you have the ability to tap into those experiences, whether it's seeing, your family struggle with their health, or to just think through, what am I setting? What's the example I'm setting for my kids? Because being able to touch into those emotional hot points is what gives you the drive to move forward and go. Because if it's just us, like if I'm just on my own, I'm not running this business. I'm not getting up early. I'm not doing this stuff, but my wife is there, and I'm trying to create a life for us together. I'm trying to create a family together. I want to be a partner to her, and I work harder for her than I do for myself. If it was just for me, I'd probably be at the gym working out all day, because that's just what's fun for me. But I want to set an example. I want to be an example to her. I want to be a partner for her, and I want to create a life with her. So we will always work harder for others than we will for ourselves. So you have to tap into that emotion, whether it's for your kids, for your family, whether it's to avoid an outcome that you see one of your family members or friends having. And that's all things I've been able to tap into. And it sounds like you've been able to do that as well. And you are a fantastic example now to those kids. And I'm so proud of you for doing that. And I really mean this when I say this. You're making a massive difference in their life, because now they're going to develop the healthy habits. They're going to avoid that future that you are working so hard to avoid. And it's going to be so much easier for them than it is for you, because they're starting at such a younger age and they're seeing you do it. So I want to commend you for that. That is a massive win, and something that is, I can't emphasize it enough. It's really important. What you're doing matters. It matters for them. It matters for everybody else in your family. Obviously, as you mentioned, you've gone through this program with a family member as well. He got great results, and he's doing an interview as well. So you're battling, together. And you're setting an example for so many people who are watching this right now. And I guarantee that somebody's going to watch this interview and they're going to sign up for the program, and they're going to get great results because you did this. So you are making an impact in not just the people around you, not just their lives, but other people's lives as well. You're having that compounding impact. So thank you for doing that and for being here, because you're making a difference in the world right now doing this interview. So thank you.
Thank you, Jackson. That means a lot. I appreciate those words.
Yeah. So many people kind of get in their head and they think, oh, it's just for me. And it's like, no, it's not just for you. Yeah. Because when my mom was struggling with her health and she was going through all these issues, it wasn't just her going through the issues. It was my dad that had to quit his job and had to just start taking her to the hospital all the time. It was our family members and everybody else who's just worrying constantly, are we going to get a call that we don't want to hear? All these other things begin to happen. You have all this compounding impact on people, either negatively or positively. And hey, sometimes things happen to even people who do put in the work and are healthy and stuff, but the odds are against it. So you might as well put yourself in the best possible position to have that favorable outcome. And you're doing that. You are doing that. So I want to commend you again for doing that. So thank you so much for tapping into that, for putting in the hard work, for being disciplined, for being focused, for investing in yourself in everything you're doing. And now it's just about every day waking up and battling that old version of Phil and keeping him at bay and saying, no, I'm not letting you come back. Because people who struggle with this stuff, they think that the people who are succeeding, that it's easy for them. And it's not. You said you struggle with confidence. I struggle with confidence still sometimes. I'm so much better at it now than I was before, but it's a constant daily thing. And you have to keep getting up and you have to keep doing the things from a health and fitness standpoint to keep the old version of yourself at bay and to keep them at arm's length, but also to keep those confidence levels going up and keeping them high. Because there's no summit in this journey. You don't get to the top and so all of a sudden look around, say, I'm at the top of Mount Everest. Now I can go back down. It's like, nope. As soon as you get to the top, the next mountain peak goes up. And it's like, you just have to keep going because fitness is a lifetime thing. It never ends. So you have to keep doing the daily things. And that's why we talk about making it sustainable. I'd rather have you work out 3 times a week for 30 minutes than work out 7 days a week for a couple of months and then stop. It's not what can you do on your best day. It's not what's your ceiling. It's what's your floor. What can you do on your worst day, week, month? And that's what we try to emphasize and focus in the program because that's what's going to allow you to maintain it forever. And you're doing such a fantastic job. So anything else you want to share? Breakthroughs, wins, insights, any lessons learned that you had?
Yeah, I mean, just a couple more things. Well, number one, I appreciate all the kind words, and yeah, there are things that you don't even remember that I would struggle with prior to this program. So, I've always had issues with anxiety, health related anxiety, especially like in my early 30s. It was something I struggled with, where you're constantly thinking something's wrong with you. And for me, the only way I would ever get out of that was through exercise. But again, the way I was doing it was very, unsustainable, and I'd go back to my old habits. And, again, that's stress and burden that I was putting on, my girlfriend, my wife, now my wife, and now my kids. And I have these last 4 months, it's been like the complete opposite, right? It's like, I haven't had any really like anxiety type episodes that I used to get, no hypochondria or anything like that. And it's part nutrition, part working out, I would say mentally. So I just thank you for that, right? It's a huge change that was just like an extra dividend of the program. Secondly, the weight loss. I think when I started this, I was in 36 jeans, size 36, but like I probably should have been in 38 or higher because they were very tight. Like the fat would just like roll over the top of them. And now I haven't been in size 34 jeans since probably like my early college days. And now these are like a little loose. I'm in 34s right now and they're a little loose on me, right? So it's amazing, right? I can't explain to you like being able to put on like an old pair of jeans that I wore X amount of years ago. And I don't know why I held on to them, but I did. And just last night I was going through, every year we just do like a mass donation of clothes at the end of the year, like clean up a little bit. And I got rid of all my 36 jeans last night, right? Threw them all in the donation bag. I'm like, should I hang on to these in case the weight comes back on? And I'm like, hell no, like I'm not allowing that to even cross my mind, put them right into the donation bag, right? So all of my old clothes are out. I got like all these new clothes. One additional cost I really wasn't prepared for, but I'd be happy to spend that money any day of the week was, just all the new clothes you have to buy, right? I was wearing extra larges. Now I'm in large, maybe even medium in some instances. And, it's awesome, man. I can't thank you enough. I can't, quite frankly, when I signed up for this program, I didn't know, I knew I would get results based on, all of the videos I watched, the before and afters, speaking with you. But I think it's all the additional things that we talked about, outside of the way you look that I can't thank you enough for, right? None of that's really tangible in the way we track and whatnot, and it just means so much, right? So I just want to again thank you for that, and that's really it. I mean, we probably could go on and on, but I can't stress to everyone that if someone like me can get this done in this short period of time, I think anybody can do it. Right? I'm not special by any stretch. So really appreciate it, Jackson. This has been a fantastic journey.
I appreciate that so much. And you are special because you did the work and you put in every single day the sweat equity, and that's what makes you special. So yeah, you might not have any special, unique abilities or skills or discipline like a Navy SEAL, but because you're doing the work every day you're separating from that old version of yourself. And every day you're getting more special, you're getting better, you're getting faster, you're getting stronger, smarter, more experienced. So every day you are getting better, my friend. So thank you again for putting in the work, for setting the example for so many people, for doing this, sharing your story and your message. I think it's a really incredible journey that you've been on, and it's not even close to being over. You're going to keep going from here. And I'm just, again, so proud of you and so thankful for you sharing today. So thank you.
Thank you, Jackson. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.